The story introduces the protagonist, Rei Hitoma, an adult who has a clear addiction, playing video games. While he is having fun, his mother enters the room and scolds him for shouting too loudly. Rei replies that he is just enjoying himself and makes it clear that he is not looking for a new job. It has already been 2 years since he left his last position, which leaves his mother quite worried. She asks whether he has no intention of teaching anymore, since that was his field before. Rei admits that that period was difficult for him, but he understands why she is concerned. When she realizes that he does not respond and remains silent, his mother decides to leave, letting the subject hang in the air. Because of this, our protagonist decides to look for a job where he does not have to deal with many people. During his search, he comes across an intriguing advertisement that promises a calm and relaxing environment in the mountains. Rei is immediately excited, thinking that it is exactly what he has been looking for. Reading more carefully, he discovers that the job offers full insurance and even hot springs. However, he soon realizes that the position is for a teacher at a school called Shianui, an all-girls institution. This leaves him somewhat disappointed. Still, when he notices that they are specifically looking for candidates with human qualities and dedication to their students, Rei decides to submit his application. The next day, he arrives at a place surrounded by trees. Confused, he begins to wonder whether he has really arrived at the right location. To make sure, he tries to check the map he received, but finds nothing clear. When he opens the envelope again, he notices that there is another envelope inside, something he does not remember seeing before. Finding this strange, he opens it and discovers a small indication. Rei takes a ring out of his pocket and places it where indicated. At that moment, a map begins to reveal itself, showing the path to follow. According to it, there should be a trail near a large cherry tree. Strangely, Rei does not remember seeing that tree before. However, when he raises his head, as if by magic, the path appears before him along with the enormous cherry tree. Ignoring this highly unusual event, he continues deeper into the forest. After walking for some time, he finally finds the school. Upon entering, a man greets him with a good morning and, somewhat nervously, asks if he is the new teacher. Rei answers yes. The man warmly welcomes him and introduces himself as Satoru Giacchino, the mathematics teacher. As he invites him inside, he comments that he heard Rei will be the new social studies teacher. Rei confirms this and mentions that he taught the subject for 4 years at his previous school. As they walk through the corridors, Rei notices several bottles scattered around the place. Satoru explains that they are something unique to that school. This sparks Rei's curiosity, and he begins to realize that the place is far from ordinary. When they reach the teacher's room, they are greeted by a light blue-haired woman named Yuki Seiya, the science teacher. She greets Rei in a very forward manner, holding his hand and saying that he can call her simply Yuki. Rei does so, but suddenly she moves too close, touches his face, and kisses his cheek, claiming there was an eyelash there. The situation is strange and leaves Rei quite confused. Satoru intervenes and asks whether that behavior is appropriate with someone she has just met. Yuki apologizes, saying that he had caught her attention, trying to put an end to the awkward moment. She informs him that the principal is waiting for Rei in his office. After leaving his backpack, the protagonist heads to the principal's office, feeling nervous. He remembers how the principal seemed polite and austere during the interview, which makes it surprising that he was chosen. Even feeling insecure, Rei decides not to back down. He accepts the challenge, believing that he needs to live up to expectations. He knocks on the door and enters, introducing himself formally. When he raises his head, however, he realizes that the principal looks completely different from the image he had before. Startled, Rei asks who that old man is. The man introduces himself as Karazuma, the school's principal. Rei does not believe him and demands to see the person he had met earlier. Karazuma explains that the previous appearance was merely a disguise. He says that the school uses a spell to test whether humans are suitable, making him appear as a young and elegant man. However, this illusion is not always active. He also reveals that a similar spell protects the entire school, preventing ordinary humans from finding it. The ring Rei carries has a special gem capable of nullifying this illusion, which explains why he was able to see the path. Karazuma then reveals that the school has students who are very different from normal, which requires extensive camouflage. In other words, he explains that the students are not human. They can be cats, dragons, elves, mermaids, and many other creatures. The school exists to teach non-human beings to understand human nature. According to him, the students each have their own reasons for wanting to become human, but the process is difficult and requires great effort. Because of this, teachers carry a greater responsibility than they would at a normal school. Karazuma calls Reggie by name and asks whether he accepts teaching there. For a moment, Reggie hesitates, but decides that he wants to change his life. Thus, he accepts the offer. Karazuma explains that the curriculum includes general education similar to that of human schools, as well as a subject focused on human nature and humanity. In it, students learn how to feel, think, and act like humans. Any behavior considered inhuman results in a loss of points, which directly affects their report cards. There are also classes focused on social skills and relationships, where students learn to communicate, cooperate, and show empathy. These aspects are evaluated by their classmates themselves. Each student has a bottle at the entrance of the classroom, where others can vote to assign points. The next day marks Reggie's first day of teaching. Before entering the classroom, he prepares himself to appear strict yet friendly. When he opens the door, he is surprised to realize that all the students are semi-human. Overcoming the initial shock, he introduces himself as the tutor of the advanced class, responsible for teaching them how to become human. Finally, Reggie mentions that he likes video games and fantasy stories. After that, he asks if anyone has any questions. A red-haired woman raises her hand and asks a very direct question. Staring at him, she wants to know if he has a girlfriend. Caught off guard, Reggie asks her not to hurt him emotionally with such a common question and answers honestly that he obviously does not. In response, the pink-haired girl comments that maybe one of them might end up being interested in him. Reggie makes it very clear that she is not that kind of person. The brown-haired girl asks whether he could really attract the interest of someone like Minazuki. Reggie notices that she does not seem very fond of the pink-haired girl. Already tired of the situation, he asks them to stop seeing him as a threat, promising that he will not do anything improper. After the teasing, he asks everyone to introduce themselves properly. The first is Tobari Janda, a striking red-haired Picanso whose dream is to become human so she can create music. Next is Sui Usami, a rabbit who wishes to become human to repay the kindness a human once showed her. The third is Celeste Kyoka Minazuki, a mermaid who wants to become human so she can dance freely. Finally, there is Asaki Ogami, a wolf girl who wishes to become human in order to leave behind her incomplete existence as a werewolf. After hearing each of their reasons, Reggie becomes thoughtful. Tobari then asks whether he is afraid of them for not being human, or if he finds them repulsive. Reggie replies that not at all. Although it was a huge surprise, he admits that he was actually happy. He had always believed that demi-humans were just fictional beings, so discovering that they truly exist made him glad. Tobari asks whether that has anything to do with his love for video games and fantasy. Reggie answers that this is only partially true. The main reason is that he does not like humans very much and has never managed to get along with them. Because of that, he thought teaching students who are not human might be better. Hearing this, all of them are surprised. Tobari questions Reggie about the reason for his hatred of humans. He explains that he believes humans are selfish, do not value sincerity, and often destroy someone over a single mistake, even after great effort. That is why he feels confused seeing the girls want so badly to become human. Tobari and Kyoka partially disagree, saying that despite their flaws, human culture, desires, and way of life are fascinating to non-humans. Sui and Asaki remind him that becoming human also means giving up many things. Reggie maintains his disdain for humans, but shows some hesitation after the discussion. That night, Reggie reflects on whether the students still trust him, worrying that he may have made a bad impression. The next day, during lunch, a conversation arises about life in the residence where the girls live. Sui becomes defensive and makes it clear that Reggie should not interfere too much in their privacy. Even so, he decides to have lunch with the group, seeing it as a chance to grow closer. The girls joke and argue, leaving Reggie a bit embarrassed. Though he realizes he has not completely lost their trust, the situation changes when Kyoka suddenly feels unwell after noticing that her meal contains kamaboko. Tobari explains that because she is a mermaid, Kyoka cannot eat certain foods made from fish. Kyoka becomes distressed about wasting the food, but Isaki solves the problem by offering her omelet and feeding her, surprising Reggie. Soon after, Kyoka feels unwell again because of the shikua. To help her, Reggie eats it in her place and nearly chokes. Tobari steps in, explaining customs related to the situation, which irritates Reggie. After the scare, Kyoka tearfully thanks him for sacrificing himself, and the other girls praise him as well. Watching the scene, Reggie smiles and concludes that maybe he really can work there and live alongside those girls, despite his initial doubts about humans and non-humans alike.
Take you